Can you believe it? You bet God. Oh. I see that chair. It's triggered. It's Johnny. It's true. Can you believe it? It's going to be a slobber knocker. As they say, anything can happen on WrestleLost. Welcome to WrestleLost Falls.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to WrestleLost. It's been a bit of a week. A lot has happened, so to get it going, here's Johnny.
Okay. We want to send our condolences to WWE. They posted this week passing. It stated it only lasted between 3 years between 2019 and 2022. You know what? Shit. Who am I talking? What am I talking about? The 24/7 title is dead.
I was about to say, is there something we don't know here? R.I.P. what?
It was dead when they made it.
It was dead the moment Mick Foley
Unveiled it.
So, yeah, so Dana Brooke defended the title on Raw this week for the first time in forever, and she faced Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross beat her for it, and later on during a backstage segment, it was a backstage segment that featured the OC. Good Brothers, AJ and Mia Yim, who, by the way, also returned. But in the background, right before that, you saw Damage Control walking down the hall, and Nikki Cross attempted to throw the title in the trash can, but somehow missed the trash can. But she didn't bother picking it up, so they just walked off, and then they announced later on this week that it's been officially retired, so good riddance.
Yeah. And according to Big Damo, after all of that happened, he said, well, you know what? She never played basketball, so you really can't criticize her for not making it into the trash.
Yeah, and then she replied to that saying that the WNBA denied her application.
At least they're making light of it, you know?
Yeah.
It's a height thing.
Maybe that as well.
But the trash can was on the ground. She was taller than the trash can.
But still.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's weird. We're going to have to consult with someone, I think you know who, about issues like that.
So in an interview that WrestleLost had with Jimmy Sport, they said that Bray is actually looking for WWE to bring back other people, such as Bo Dallas and Eric Rowan, to be a part of the Wyatt Six. And that they're also saying that now, no surprise, under the Triple H era, that he's being respected more and his ideas are being heard.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that is happening because we knew it was going to be different with Triple H being around and in charge of things. As far as bringing in Bo Dallas and Eric Rowan, yes to Bo Dallas, but I don't know about Eric Rowan. Like, maybe they should move on and just work with all new people, but Because so far from what I see of the people they have used, and I know this doesn't matter because perception can be changed, but none of them like fit the build of Eric Rowan. But that can always be worked around.
Yeah, with Rowan, you bring up more of the Wyatt family,
Yeah,
and you don't want to go backwards with his character. You want to go forward.
yeah.
So if you do that, you're gonna have to Strowman too. You're gonna put Strowman back in there.
I don't want Strowman anywhere near this situation.
And I don't. Actually, I don't want him anywhere around at all, especially after the comments he's been making the last week.
Yeah, he's a special case right now, and not in a good way. Uh, and then he's in this tournament, so I don't know, man. I have a bad
Yeah,
feeling about this.
and it looks like he might be built to win the tournament.
I know a lot of people are not gonna like it, but
Well,
he's in there for a reason. He's the big guy. Like I understand you had that plan before all of this happened, but sometimes you just need to pay attention to what's going on. And actions have consequences. So that's all I'm saying.
Well, here's something else. Huh? Oh, I was reacting to my own echo.
You're
that's like
reacting
jumping
to
from your own
yourself.
shadow.
Okay, here's something else you're not gonna like either. With that same interview that Russell Wilson had, saying that John Cena is slated to appear and have a match at WrestleMania.
Yes.
Yawn.
Against who? I don't know because the plans are still in place for Roman to face The Rock. That's if The Rock's schedule allows that. So it could be a couple of situations here that if it's if it's Roman versus The Rock, then you could maybe even possibly have The Rock enter and win the Royal Rumble, and then Cody could face John Cena. But if they can't get The Rock, then let Cody win the Rumble, and Cody faces uh, Roman, and then let Cena face someone else. Maybe, and you're not gonna like this either. I've heard maybe have Cena go against Bray Wyatt again.
Hmm. Look, we all know how I feel. I don't need to say that shit. I've been very vocal about it. Someone, and I don't care what movie it is, can someone just sign him up? Get him busy making another movie so he stays away from this.
Fast
Look,
10. Oh,
sure, fine, whatever. Start doing Fast 10. He's going to be in it anyway. Whatever. I just don't want him anywhere near WWE right now when they're doing so damn good for the most part, because we'll talk about that later on. I have my thoughts on SmackDown. But yeah, I don't want him anywhere near this. I don't want him anywhere near Bray Wyatt. I swear, if they have him dethrone Roman, I will lose my shit.
I don't think they do that.
I don't. We can't
If
guarantee that now, can we?
but if they did, that would have happened last year at SummerSlam. And
Last.
I don't know if Vince or if Triple H wants to do that. I know Vince would have been all over it, and I don't know why he. Well, I can see why he didn't do it because the Roman storyline has been going strong for 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Because I heard that as well. Everything about Cena coming through for Mania. I know you killed the 24/7 title, but bring that bitch back just to put it on him so he can shut up and go on his way.
No, it wouldn't count as the record because
Oh,
it has to be WWE titles.
I wasn't even talking about the record or anything. Just
Oh,
give him that spot that has zero influence on anything we care about and have him go on his merry way, defend it against Vin Diesel when he's on set, have Ludacris win it. I don't know. You can do all this shit.
have Roman Reigns win it.
Just
Um,
keep him away
um,
from all of this. That's just my thoughts, though. I don't think anything he comes through to do in WWE that he deserves it because he's been away for so long. Like, don't take a spot of someone who deserves it. But whatever, that's just me.
all right. Well, CM Punk has CM Punk has made his first appearance since All Out. He's commentator for the Cage Fighting Championship this earlier this week, which is something that he did before he went to AEW. He had on a suit, had the hair slicked back, but uh, there was no mention of him as far as his injury or if he's going to come back or when he's going to come back.
Yeah. I understand there not being mention of anything because that's not what he's there for. He's
Yeah,
there to commentate on these fights, so that's what he did. Like it was good that he did it that way. The one thing I did think is maybe he should stop using the CM Punk name. I know that's how you got famous and all that shit, and that's your right to use that name. But if it was me, with everything that happened, I would just use his regular name, Phil Brooks. Like you
Did
don't
that,
need
nobody know who the hell he was.
people would know.
outside of wrestling, wouldn't know who you know who he is. We know who he is, but not ordinary people.
Yeah, but you can still like spin it to where people would know who he is. You just don't have to use that name anymore. But again, that's just me. After everything that happened, I wouldn't use the name, but you know, keep on capitalizing on that name, so can't blame him for that.
Yeah. So there's been some controversy in NWA. Nick Aldis earlier in the week gave a message out to what he thought was just his subscribers, but he made it public accidentally, where he said he was going to leave the promotion and not see out the rest of his contract, which expires in January. But then Billy Corgan responded by actually suspending him for the remainder of his contract. Reason being, there's been a fallout between Nick Aldis and Billy Corgan this year. Uh, Billy Corgan, for no reason, pulled him out of a title match earlier this year, even though he had won a number one contender match. Nick Aldis feels like he wasn't showing enough respect to Mickey James, his wife, to the lead-in of their all women's in power show, and that he was saying that there wasn't going to be a second Empower show because there just wasn't enough female talent. So yeah, so that's how that played out. Uh, I mean, I know Billy Corgan is a fan of wrestling, but I don't know how good he is as far as a promoter. I know recently Triple H actually turned down an offer to work with the NWA. Billy Corgan offered the NWA as like a developmental system for WWE, but problem is WWE already has a developmental system.
Yeah.
Called NXT.
Yeah,
Unless they want to make it a developmental for NXT. No.
well, that's what Evolve is or was.
Yeah. I I kind of understand what he wanted to do because you want to be tied into WWE, especially now that Vince is gone, because there's going to be a lot more room to grow if they do sign on with you. But WWE really doesn't need it. They already have their own stuff established and going, so I could see why Triple H would say no. But I also
So,
understand what he was trying to do from his side of things.
so now the question is what's next for Nick Aldis? He could go, he could go either way, because he did wrestle against Cody for the NWA title at All In, which was a pre event before AEW. Uh, but then also uh, he could fit in with WWE as well, and he even said that he would like to have a match with Drew McIntyre.
I'm really leaning towards WWE just because I think he would fit in a lot better there than anywhere else. Plus, I'm hearing that WWE is interested in it.
And if
So,
they bring him in, that means you could bring Mickey James back.
yeah. And they're always going to be happy with bringing her back because they've brought her back many times. So,
Yeah, and they need to make up for that whole putting her stuff in the sending her stuff in the trash bag thing.
yeah. I completely forgot about that. But
Yes,
yeah, they could make things right with her. And yeah, it could work if that's something they decide to do. I could see them doing that. And I could see Mickey being a reasonable person and accepting Triple H's apology, even though it isn't his apology to give. But I could understand it.
and uh, lastly, this week on Dynamite, Saraya had a a promo with Britt Baker where she went over the places where she had wrestled, and she said that she wrestled in the Tokyo Dome. And I was curious because some people couldn't remember her ever working in Tokyo Dome, and I looked it up, and at first I was mistaken too, but then I realized that she wrestled a match in Tokyo, but not in the Tokyo Dome. On July 4th, 2015, WWE held a, a network pay per view called The Beast in the East. You know, obviously it was Brock Lesnar main eventing, and it also had a NXT title match with it was Finn Balor against Kevin Owens. But there was also a triple threat match for the Divas title back then. That's how far far back this goes between Paige, Nikki Bella, and Tamina. And this event took place not at the Tokyo Dome, but at Sumo Hall in Tokyo. So that's what she meant to say, which she did correct herself later on.
Yeah, she confused a good bunch of us.
Yeah,
Because as soon as she said it and we saw some reaction videos on it, we couldn't get it right. We couldn't
yeah,
put it together.
we
And
had a back and forth with Tempest from Wrestle Talk about that.
yeah, so it wasn't only us that were confused. Some other people were confused about it, but it was cleared up.
Yeah. So, maybe you'll make it to the Tokyo Dome one day. I mean, you know what? Actually, today, New Japan was going to have their first, or they were going to inaugurate their first IWGP Women's Champion. And I completely forgot that was taking place until just now. So I'm going to have to go back and see who won that.
Yeah, it's a definite possibility now that she's in AEW and cleared to compete 100%. It's it's gonna be interesting to see how the match goes and how much she's able to do, because the doctors did put on the release note to ease your way in. Don't go in 100, giving it 110%. Like you know your body better than anyone else. So however you feel, that's how you're gonna have to take it. So it'll be interesting to see how she does against Bray.
And they also put on there that she was born in the year 992.
Yeah, oldest wrestler alive.
Damn.
by
1,000 years?
yes.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously a typo. They missed the one, but
Right.
it was funny to see.
Yeah.
You say 92?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the year I graduated. Oh,
You graduated in 992?
no,
Jeez.
1992.
Oh, okay.
I graduated high school that year. Shit. That's how old I am.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
I was in seventh grade.
Yeah. When I graduated, she was 11. Hmm. Yeah, we're old.
When I graduated, she was 5.
Some of us older than the other ones.
Oh.
But yeah, man. Look, I'm just happy she's cleared. Like she got a bit emotional when she said it, but that's natural. But yeah, I'm just real happy to see what she gets to do now that she's got free reign to go out there and do as she pleases, as long as her body holds up. It'll be great.
Yeah. And that's all I have.
All right. Well, now that we've gone through the news, I'm gonna go back to Johnny and get his moment for WWE this week.
Okay, so Seth Rollins was going to have a open challenge for the U.S. title. He was going to do it earlier in the night, but then he got interrupted by the Judgment Day for some reason, and then Judgment Day got interrupted by the LC. That's when they brought out Mia Yim as part of their group now. So Seth Rollins just said, you know what, I'll just do this later. And it ended up being the main event of the night. Seth Rollins comes out, he said, who's going to answer my challenge? And Mustafa Ali comes up on the Titantron, says that, I'm going to answer your challenge, but before he could come out to the ring, he gets attacked from behind by Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley accepts it, but then before he could come out, Mustafa tries to attack him again, only for Lashley to just throw him into some crates. And then they came out and they had the match, and Seth Rollins ended up getting the win. But then after the match, for some reason, Austin Theory's music hits. Austin Theory comes out and says, you know what, I'm going to cash in my Money in the Bank. First time ever someone tried to cash in Money in the Bank on a non-world title. So then they went to commercial. They came back, and this is after Rollins had already been beat down. But then, um, while Theory's getting offense in on Seth, who actually comes back out, knocks Theory out on the outside. And Theory gets counted out. So Theory loses his Money in the Bank contract, which I know a lot of people are saying that they're not happy with it. I'm fine with it. I mean, he wasn't doing anything with it, and they took it off him because they knew they had backed themselves in the corner, that, there's no way he was going to beat Roman for it. And I just think you just wait and put it on a different person. And if they are going to move the Money in the Bank matches to WrestleMania, then you don't have as long to wait for another Money in the Bank holder, rather than waiting till the summer for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can throw Theory back in that match.
No.
You could.
Hey, I'm just saying. And he's not the first person to cash in and not get it.
He said no.
No. No. Look, man.
He's not the first person to cash in and not get it.
Okay, well then you throw John Cena in.
Cena's missed out. Corbin's missed out. Who else?
Yeah.
Strowman missed out on it, didn't cash in.
Yeah, Corbin actually wrote on Twitter that welcome Austin Theory to their exclusive club
Yeah.
that John Cena is the leader of.
Because he was the first one not to cash in.
Yeah, which does include Baron Corbin and Damien Mizdow, now Austin Theory and Braun Strowman.
Oh, sorry. I just heard John Cena and I tuned out again.
Yeah, we.
No. Look, man. I don't know what you do here with Austin Theory. Because obviously this is the last bit of loose ends they had to tie up of the Vince era. He was the last project left. So, me personally, I don't mind that he lost, even though it was for the U.S. title. I know a lot of people have that issue because it was not a world title, but did you really think it was going to be a credible defense if he cashed in on Roman? No. I don't think they would have made it as believable as other people think it could have been. So, I don't mind this. I'm just glad we don't have that looming question about when is he going to do it. Because he already did it and he lost. So,
I mean, if they wanted to do it a different way, they could have just had him lose it to someone else in a match. Someone else more credible.
yeah, but that could have worked, but it would have just created another issue because you would have to insert someone else into the whole bloodline storyline, and what they got going on right now is good. It doesn't need that issue. So I'm glad with this move. I think even though it's not the most popular way of handling it, I think it worked for what it needed to be. But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know what you do with Austin Theory from now on because
Yeah.
who knows what the plan was there.
Where does he go from here?
Yeah.
Maybe he goes back to NXT.
He should.
Sure. Because I just don't think he's main roster ready.
No.
So yeah, just move him back to NXT. Have him grow a little bit. Maybe not look so awkward out there. Get a little bit more of a serious persona going on.
And grow also in a physical sense too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he should have cashed it in on Braun. become NXT champion and bring Braun up and leave Austin in there for a while.
I mean, he did tease it.
Yeah.
That would have been their best bet.
Yeah, that could have also worked because they're gonna bring up Braun up sooner than later.
Or
so.
even have the match for the contract, and Braun beats him for it. Braun, as they have been talking for a long time about Braun possibly being an opponent for Roman.
Yeah, I would have believed that more than Austin Theory. So, yeah, I don't know what the original plan was there, but I like this. I like that they finally got it off of them, and now you just send them back to NXT and have them learn and grow from this, and come back in a couple of years and see what the reception's like, because we need to forget about everything that happened with them. Yeah, so I'm glad they finally got that taken care of. So now that we got Johnny's moment in there, I'm gonna go over to Drew and get his moment for WWE this week.
I don't know. I was going to go that.
How does it feel to get your moment taken from you?
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah, I know. There's plenty of things to choose from.
Well, let's go to the end of SmackDown. No, I got better. Let's go to what was it? Basically setting up the women's War Games match with Bianca and Alexa and Asuka against Damage Control, having the little face off.
Sorry, you set her off. You set her off.
Well, it's not.
It
I'm
was
sorry.
Andrew's fault this time.
And for some reason, she didn't know what you said, but she said the answer is the Academy Awards.
Well, I guess they are all actors, aren't they? No.
I,
Yeah, basically they're setting up the women's War Games. We just have to figure out who all is going to be involved because we got 3-on-3 at the moment. So
yeah, and I've heard different names.
I think Nikki's going to be in it.
Well, yeah, she already is. Cause she joined up with him.
Yeah, so I'm not sure on.
Yeah, I don't. As far as the Bianca side, they said that maybe Winston, Dana Brooke, and I'm thinking. Oh, no, I forgot who else. It was Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke and Candice LeRae.
Okay, I can see Candace.
Yeah, I'm all for Candice being in it, but Dana Brooke,
And some people are saying that maybe they maybe get Rhea
And Mia in there.
Rhea for Damage Control. Yeah. Rhea and Mia.
Yeah, Rhea and Mia.
Jeez. We got Kai and Sky and Rhea and Mia.
And then there's Bailey, who's just no.
yeah, I would understand them using Rhea and Mia. God, that's still weird to say after that movie. But yeah, some people say they need to bring in Sasha and Naomi. Like maybe this is their way back in.
Maybe.
That's also a possibility. I'd be more excited about the Sasha side of it than Naomi, but
We haven't seen Dewdrop in a while.
Are we going to have anybody from SmackDown? Or is this just an all Raw show? Raw women's.
I think you can keep in an all Raw women's.
And all SmackDown men's.
Yeah.
There's not enough women on SmackDown.
Well, no, but you can just like add 2 for each, or 1 from.
I mean, because it does look like like maybe the SmackDown, that men's match that they set up last night, they may add Kevin Owens to be part of Drew and Bruce.
Yeah, yeah, because they're gonna bring Sammy in for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's how you get Sammy and Kevin to start working together during that match.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Well,
think
instead of Rhea and Mia, maybe bring in Sonya and Liv.
sure. I always love watching Liv.
Or never mind. I was gonna say Ronda and Shayna, but Ronda's already gonna be defending her title.
Yeah, she's already got a match, bruh.
Yeah, with Shotzi.
Yeah, which it would have been a nice thing to bring her in if they could have, but nah, she's got her own thing going on right now. I don't know, man. This could go in many different directions. We're gonna just have to wait and see how it goes and who they get. But it's an interesting start to it all. I'm glad they're finally getting it going because I'm ready for war games.
We all are ready for War Games.
Hell yeah, we're ready for war games. So, yeah, man, that was some good shit. I like what they did there and starting to set it up. So, hell yeah, we'll see where the rest of that goes. Um, as far as my moment, LA Knight is being interviewed in the back, or he's trying to get an interview going, but I forgot what her name is of who was doing the interview, but the screen
Was it
behind him.
Kayla?
No,
I think it was Kayla.
Lexi there.
Oh,
Yeah,
Lexi.
yeah, it was Lexi. So she is getting distracted because the monitor behind LA Knight keeps on flashing the Bray Wyatt stuff. And he starts getting flustered. He's like, "What are you looking at? Why are you getting distracted? Give me my interview." And that's when he turns around and sees what's going on and decides to blow it off and just walk away. But whenever he turns around, Bray Wyatt is right there in frame with him. And Bray goes on to tell him something along the lines of, "Do you know who you really are and what you want to do? Or do you want to come with me and be the real you?" And that's when LA Knight gets all defensive and says, "I'm just going to be who I am and do what I'm going to do. I don't need you," basically, is what he said. And that's when Bray laughed it off and just gives him a headbutt. And that ended the segment. With LA Knight standing back up a couple of seconds after and just trying to come to grips with what had happened.
He's like,
Yeah.
holding his jaw, like, where did he go?
Yeah.
Where did he go? I'm going to get him. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I don't mind this. If this is his first feud coming back, I think they could have done a lot worse. I'm just happy to see him finally working with or against someone, you know? This just means we're going to get a match from him real soon. I don't know exactly when they would do it, but they could have picked someone worse than LA Knight. So I was real happy to see that. And we'll see where they decide to go from there next week. We'll have
Or
to
could Bray be trying to recruit LA Knight?
I think that is what's going to happen in the end, but I think the recruitment process is going to be a match.
Yeah, it's kind of like the whole thing about with the Moxley and Danielson thing.
Yeah,
They gotta fight first.
yeah, yeah. You're going to have to fight first, kind of get respect for each other, or LA Knight realize that he needs some help. But I don't know if you want to put him in a group again. after the whole maximum male model thing. But I don't know.
But it's a different person.
Yeah.
That was
Max Dupree.
Max Dupree.
This is LA Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but well, I mean, we all know the truth. But yeah, I don't know where they're gonna go with it, but I'm just happy that this is happening, and that we're gonna get a match from him very soon. Um,
At least we're thinking so.
yeah, I would think so. Unless if he has someone like Bo Dallas or Eric Rowan come in, and they're the ones that have the matches instead of him. Like he used to do with the Wyatt family. But we'll see where they decide to go with that. Uh, a couple of issues that I saw somebody have with SmackDown is so the Viking Raiders coming out when the match was going to be Selena Vega versus B-Fab and attacking Hit Row and coming out with Sarah Logan, which happy to see her back because we knew she was going to come back. It's been teased for a very good while. But the problem there is a lot of people weren't too happy with the way she looked. But me personally, I didn't mind it. I don't see what the big issue is as long as we got her back and she's gonna do her thing now. We're gonna give it time and see how she does. So I don't know why people are having an issue with that. The other issue people were having is when Shotzi won and she became the number one contender, and now we know she's gonna go up against Ronda Rousey. One of the lines Shotzi says is, "You've never faced someone like me." She literally beat you in over a minute not too long ago. Just stuff like that I don't know if they really thought it through, or if they forgot that happened. But they were just a bit all over the place on this SmackDown when it came to certain parts and remembering what had happened.
But then again, I have to commend commentary because even though Triple H is slowly starting to work with other promotions, they're actually continue to recognize that there is wrestling outside of WWE. Because during the Shinsuke Santos Escobar match, Michael Cole mentioned the upcoming match that Shinsuke has against the Great Muta, and then Wade Barrett mentioned that 15 years ago, Santos and Shinsuke had a match in CMLL.
Yeah, yeah. So that is a positive side of things, is that they're starting to acknowledge that other companies do exist. Just these little minor details that didn't quite work this week, with the whole line that Shotzi used that I already said, and then when Sarah Logan came out, Michael Cole acting a fool, acting like he didn't know who it was when it'd been teased already. And then whenever, like a minute and a half in after the attack was finally going on, it was like, oh wait, that's Sarah Logan. Like, yeah. Who else would it be, Michael? I just, this is an issue that other people have brought up as well. It's not just me, but that is my main issue I had with SmackDown, is saying some stuff that didn't make sense.
With Mia Yim and Sarah Logan coming back this week, that makes 15 wrestlers that were released in the last 2 years that have come back since Triple H took over.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice amount of people that have came back. Yeah, I don't know about that look, man. But that
I'm guessing it was her choice. I don't know.
yeah, if it was her choice, that's fine. But
But it is like, I'm guessing, a Viking look. She's part of the Viking Raiders, I guess. So more
yeah,
power to her.
yeah, like I'm not gonna question it because that's a personal choice. So as long as she's good in ring, which she did look good, and as long as it leads to something better and the Viking Raiders being treated fairly this time around, not being used pretty much for comedy or stuff like that, make it mean something and I'll be fine with it. She can look however she wants.
Hmm.
But yeah, just minor things here and there that were said on SmackDown that could have been a little bit better. They just need to work on those details. But other than that, I liked it, man. The the Usos versus the New Day match was really damn good. A great way to kick it off, and it carried all the way through for the most part. So can't be too mad at WWE. Just gotta pay
And
attention to the minor details.
yeah, and next week we get another first round match uh, in the tournament. Ricochet versus Mustafa. It's gonna be a really good match.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really good match. I don't know how it's gonna go, but it's interesting because they're both very face, and we love both of them. So
Yeah, that's two baby faces against each other.
yeah, I don't know.
Oh, so I guess Lashley threw Mustafa so hard he went to SmackDown.
I guess so, man. Hey, that's the force.
Yeah,
That's how strong he is. But yeah, that's
yeah,
gonna be an interesting match.
because I've heard someone quote saying that now Bobby Lashley can beat Brock Lesnar at will.
It looks like it, but that was only one time. So
Yeah.
we'll see if they decide to do something with that again, which I'm sure they will. So now that we've gone through our moments for WWE, I'm gonna go back to Johnny and get his moment for AEW this week.
Okay. Well, AEW started their own tournament this week. It's the AEW Eliminator Tournament, where the finals going to be at Full Gear, and the winner that's going to get a title shot at Winter's Coming, which we're going to see. Uh, the first match was Arya Davari against Wardlow, which was a total mismatch. You knew who was going to win there. Wardlow won in a couple minutes. Did the whole power bomb 15. Uh, but then, so then, uh, Samoa Joe's out there with him. Ward Joe, and they're in the ring celebrating, and Powerhouse Hobbs comes out. And Wardlow, he cuts this short promo, says something about how that he wants to win every title in AEW, or he wants to go after every title in AEW. This really didn't set well for Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe turns on Wardlow.
I don't understand why. Joe has an ROH title, not an AEW title.
Well, yeah, I don't know, but I think maybe Samoa Joe might be looking to be the first one to have both an ROH and an AEW title, and this actually sets up. Maybe they might even have it at Full Gear, a three-way match for the TNT title with Wardlow, Samoa Joe, and Powerhouse Hobbs, which that's just three big meaty men sucking meat right there.
Yeah, Yeah, man. It's if that's the road they're headed, it's gonna be.
Wasn't that match though for the TNT title? Because didn't Daivari try to buy it? No, he offered his Butler for it.
Yeah. Was it not for the tournament?
No, it was a TNT title because he offered his Butler for the title.
Okay. Well, okay. I remember that. I forgot to mention it. So okay, it wasn't for the tournament, but yeah, because that's I guess Davari's thing is trying to buy titles because he tried to buy the FTW title from Hook.
Yeah, this whole buying titles thing isn't gonna work. You gotta earn that shit, man. And unfortunately, you're not good enough to earn any of these titles. But yeah, man, it's interesting to see what they're gonna do here with Samoa Joe now that he's turned his back on Wardlow and went all heel again. I knew it wouldn't last because
Yeah.
they're two big names that you don't want together as a tag team for a very long time because they can each go off and do their own thing. So I'm not surprised that it happened. I just didn't think it was gonna come this soon, you know. But hey, here we are, and what kind of gave it away for me was the framing.
Yeah.
How you were looking at Warlow from the front, and then you just see Samoa Joe just peeking out from the back. I
Yeah,
had a feeling it was going to
and then
happen.
right when the heel turn happened, they were focused on Powerhouse Hobbs,
Yeah,
and like they just barely caught the end of the attack.
yeah. So again, not surprised by what I was seeing, but it was still shocking to see that it happened so quickly. I
Yeah,
wasn't expecting it
but
this
that's
soon.
like WWE levels of production.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed the view and how they pulled this off. So hell yeah, man, that was some really good shit. So now that we got Johnny's moment in there, I'm gonna go over to Drew and get his moment for AEW this week.
My moment's a promo.
All right.
The Moxley promo. Moxley comes to the ring with Wade Regal and tells the story of how they met, kind of like MJF did a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But he talks about how he's the young guy wanting to prove to Regal that he's all that. Didn't work. Went back, worked real hard, came back second time. He beat his ass. And he also talked about how MJF is calling himself the devil, but Mox has seen the devil, and you're nowhere near being the devil.
And I heard someone say that they noticed that when he said, "I've seen the devil," someone in the crowd yelled out, "Vince McMahon."
Pretty much. Oh.
I mean, yes.
And he also asked, "Who is MJF?" Talking about how MJF is going through a identity crisis, whether he wants to be a legitimate wrestler or someone who takes the easy way out. And he finished up with, just remember one thing: everything you've done to this point has been easy. This match ain't going to be easy.
Yeah.
And they also showed a clip from MJF's appearance on the Pardon My Take, where he again he brought up John Cena, saying that he
Like John.
like John Cena is a generational talent, because he brought up names like Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold, The Rock,
Flair, San Martina.
yeah, Bruno
Bruno,
Sammartino.
yeah, but
You're
I
thinking
don't
of
know why I
Gino
said,
Hernandez.
I don't know why I said Bruno's.
You getting him confused, Gino Hernandez.
Yeah, we were talking about him Friday, so.
Yeah, yeah, and the last name was John Cena. Yeah, the reason we brought that up is because MJF, he's been out for the last few weeks as he's been a part of the filming of the new Von Erich movie, The Iron Claw. And I was telling Drew that I think he would make a great Gino Hernandez. For those of you that who know who that is.
Yeah, and once we got wind of that, I told you that this could be a great thing for him because he's obviously very talented. So the fact that they got him for this movie, I just hope it's a significant role.
Yeah,
And
I hope so. I hope it's not just like some random opponent that they have during a match for a match.
yeah, nah, I hope they were able to work some real good time with him in. And yeah, just he's really good at what he does, and he's really
Yeah.
good on the mic and how he carries himself, and that could transfer over really well.
CM Punk called him a less famous Miz, but I think as an actor, I think he can be a more famous Miz.
Definitely a more famous Miz. But yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting to see what role he's gonna have. So can't wait for that. Uh, as far as my moment for AEW this week, I was gonna go with Saraya, but we already talked about that and how we're excited to see her return. Uh, so I'm gonna go with my other moment, which was the two out of three falls match. Bryan Danielson versus Sammy Guevara. I knew this match was gonna be really, really good, just because of the different levels each one of them can bring. But it kind of surprised me, even though I know it was going to be greatness. Uh, it started off with Danielson and his series of kicks and chops against Sammy, and Sammy defending with a corkscrew drop kick. But that first fall ended up happening after a top rope suicida, but well, they were going to try for it, but Ty Mello jumped in the way, giving Sammy some time to get a steel chair and throw it at Bryan Danielson, which the referee saw. So the first fall went to disqualification. And then Sammy grabbed the mic and he started going at Bryan Danielson with it. Almost said the other name because it's happened here before. Yeah, so he went at Danielson with the mic and busted him open, and that's when Sammy hit Danielson with a GTH, and he pinned him. So it was 1-1 at that time, and this last fall was the true part of the match. This is when they had the actual match. Danielson attempting a diving headbutt, but Sammy dodging it. Sammy locking in the crossface, which was a really damn good crossface, but Danielson able to reach the ropes, broke that hold, and yeah, Sammy jumping off of the turnbuckles, but Danielson countering it with double knees. Ty being ejected after putting her hands on the ref, and that's when Danielson capitalized and dropped Sammy with a running knee. Sammy landed a back-flipping DDT, but then Danielson got in the label lock, and Sammy tapped. well, verbal submission, but it was pretty much the same thing. He got submitted. But yeah, man, I just thought that was a really good match, really good showing by Danielson, which we're used to having, and just Sammy Guevara being able to put up that caliber of a match, which we know he can have. I was happy to see it just because of everything that's been happening and that he's been getting. It was a great moment for him to have. So I was just happy to see him in that position he was in, even though they have done the Sammy versus Danielson match quite a bit. I would say this one was the best one so far. And sometime from now, I could see them having a real good match on a pay per view. So, yeah. Good week for Sammy, good week for Danielson, like always. I was just happy to see that go the way that it did. So, now that we got our moments in there for AEW, we're going to go ahead and do our predictions for Full Gear, seeing as that's coming up next weekend. I already got the card pulled up, so I'm going to get y'all's thoughts. To start it off, it's going to be Luchasaurus versus Jungle Boy in a steel cage match. Johnny, who you got?
Jungle Boy.
All right. Andrew?
Oh, good lord. Jungle Boy. Why not?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go Jungle Boy as well, just because it's going to give motivation for when Christian Cage comes back and for him to have a match against Jungle Boy. Seeing as when they were going to have it at the pay-per-view, that's when Christian was injured, so it was a very quick match. Yeah, I think this is going to be the match they were going to have back then, so I think they're going to use Luchasaurus just to set that up again. And the one match that I think Andrew isn't really looking forward to Jade Cargill versus Nyla Rose, singles match for the AEW TBS Championship. Who you got?
Well, I mean, she's already been carrying it around with her, so might as well just make her official. Nyla Rose.
All right. Yeah, she has been carrying it around. So if she were just to keep it, that would make sense. Andrew?
Do I have to pick one?
Unfortunately, yes. You do.
Nyla. I'm
Holy
tired of Jade having it.
shit.
I'm sorry. I'm tired of Jade having the damn thing and being undefeated.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you on that. Normally, I would say Nyla Rose, but I just think she's made Jade Cargill look too much like a fool in keeping her own title away from her. That Jade is gonna come in and just not dominate, but overpower her in the end. And you know how much I don't like Jade Cargill. But I'm just looking at strictly the story they've been telling. I don't think they're going to have Jade lose. So, as much as I hate saying this, I'm going to have to go with Jade Cargill. Because I think she's going to need to look strong in the end, seeing as how they have done this whole situation. So, for possibly the biggest match for me of the night, just because of who it is and it being her first match back, Britt Baker versus Saraya.
Well, if it's her first match back, you gotta give it to Saraya.
I would think so too.
Yeah, she doesn't lose her return match. No way. Although it would be interesting booking.
Yeah. Also, because of, who Britt Baker always has around her. But yeah, like I'm pretty sure Soraya has people on her side as well, which we have seen some of. So I don't know if you're gonna keep this a clean match or if there's gonna be shenanigans, but if there is, I would understand it. But I think the right move is to have Soraya win. Britt wouldn't lose anything with having a L here. So that's what I think. So I don't know how y'all feel about this next one, but here we go. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal versus Sting and Darby Allin.
I mean, you got to give to Sting and Darby Allin.
Andrew?
Yeah, Sting and then Darby.
I don't know. Because either one of them, either team could really use a win. But
Well, I mean, it's the first time that Jared and Jay Lethal teamed in AEW.
yeah,
They teamed earlier this summer against Ric Flair and Andrade. But I don't know how good Ric Flair still is in the ring.
yeah. But just by what I'm seeing here and what I would think happens, I'm gonna have to go with Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. I'm not the biggest fan of Jay Lethal, but I do like me some Jeff Jarrett, so I'm gonna have to go.
Plus, they have Sanjay and
Yeah,
Putnam, whatever his name is.
Satnam Singh.
Satman or Satnam, something like that.
Satnam.
Satnam. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So they got the numbers advantage, unless if someone shows up to help out Sting and Darby, but I highly doubt that.
Yeah, I don't know who could help them out.
Well, I have an idea. Hardys, like Jeff.
True.
Jeff could be making the return.
You know what? I didn't think about that. Because I know Matt Hardy had been hinting that Jeff was on his way back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, and I know, and I know Jeff Jarrett has history of Sting, but he also has history with the Hardys.
Yeah. So
going back to TNA and.
Is there a storyline where Matt works for somebody else because he lost the private party, lost the match or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's under contract with the firm, but I don't know what. Well, I guess there's still a thing, but.
Well, you haven't seen much of it. So.
Yeah. Since they attacked MJF, you haven't really heard much from them.
Yeah. So.
Although they did lend someone to the Jarrett's last week to play Sting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was the factory.
Yeah.
That was a 2-down.
Oh yeah, it was the factory.
Yeah.
It could also be a story they tell of Matt being like, "Hey, that's my brother. I'm gonna have his back." There's a story they could tell there if they wanted to. So, if they have the Hardys come in and help out Sting and Darby, I would say Sting and Darby win. But if they don't, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal have the numbers advantage. So. I'm going Jeff and Jay Lethal.
25 years I still pop every time I hear that Hardy music.
Yeah, yeah. That Mania return when we were together watching that shit,
Yeah.
we
Yes.
lost our minds. It was greatness. So I would be happy to see him back here again. So for the next match on the card, Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson versus Claudio versus Sammy Guevara. Four-way match for the ROH World Championship.
This is a tough one. Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna say Sammy.
Okay. Andrew? It's tough. It's a tough choice, man.
Damn.
I would say that's the most unpredictable match of the night.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Claudio takes it back.
All right.
Especially with the way he lost it to Jericho. Being a dishonorable loss, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think he needs to get a better run with it this time around. So you want to right that little bit of a wrong. So I could see Claudio. Danielson, I don't think he needs it. I don't think Jericho retains. And just because I'm going to play favorites here, I'm going to go with Sammy Guevara. Just because I want to see the outrage in people's faces again whenever he's got that championship.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. I mean, you saw how much fun I had when he won here last time. And me talking shit
great.
as I do. Yeah. So I just want to see people outrage again over stuff that shouldn't even matter. So, hell yeah. I'm going to go Sammy Guevara. Singles match for the interim AEW Women's Championship. Toni Storm versus Jamie Hayter.
Toni Storm. I don't think she's gonna lose it yet. I think she's waiting for Thunder Rosa to come back.
Alright. Yeah, I think they're waiting for that as well. I don't know how much longer she has, but...
Yeah, because Thunder Rosa recently had an Instagram video where she said that she's not sure herself when she's going to be back. Her recovery is taking longer than expected.
I mean, they could take it off of her and then put it back on her later on. Just to go for that match, but I don't know what the timeline is there, so... All depends on that timeline. Andrew, who you got?
Hater's too over right now. She has to take it. She gets the biggest pop out of all the women.
Yes. She does get a very big pop.
So I might as well give the people what they want. Oh,
Yeah.
this is the best friends. Anyway, put it on to Jamie.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would make sense because Tony has had a decent run with this interim world championship. And if Thunder Rosa was coming back soon, I would understand them keeping it on her. But since we don't know how that's going, the uncertainty of it, and as over as Jamie Hayter is, just the reaction they would get from the crowd by her winning, I think would be fucking great. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Jamie Hayter as well. I think she deserves it. So, for the AEW World Tag Team Championship, The Acclaimed versus Swerve in Our Glory.
The Acclaim are going to retain because I think this is the point where Swerve and Keith Lee split up.
God, I hope so. Oh. I'm sorry. Was that out loud? Shit.
Yeah, that was
And
out
and
loud.
and of course, Daddy Ass continues to be the most over thing in AEW.
Yeah. I can see that. I can see that happening. Uh, Drew, what you got?
Scissor me, daddy.
Something
Don't
I
come,
thought I would never hear him say.
don't call me Daddy.
Yeah, man. All depends on how they decide to treat this situation. If they are gonna play off of the tension between Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland and have them at odds throughout the match, because the way they have done it is they don't agree with each other and some of the stuff that Strickland has done. But when it comes to actual matches, they do really good together. But that could finally boil over here, and they could have just Keith Lee lose his shit, and that's what causes them the match. The only way I see them winning is if Keith Lee goes full heel and finally decides to do some bad shit himself. But I don't think that's something they would do right now. So, and the outrage that would happen if they have the Acclaimed lose, I don't think they're ready for that. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Acclaimed as well. And for the final match of the night, singles match for the AEW World Championship, Jon Moxley versus MJF.
This is another tough one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say MJF because I think MJF was meant to take the title off CM Punk.
Well, I mean, I think we all know that was what was meant to happen.
Yeah, but I mean, this is how they get back on track.
Yeah. It's what would make sense to get back on track. And plus, Moxley was supposed to go on vacation. So, this could mean he finally gets his vacation.
Yeah.
True?
I want to keep it on Moxley.
You're going to keep it on Moxley? You're going to deny his vacation?
Why
You
not?
greedy
I mean,
fuck?
he can still take a vacation and still there's a month between full gear and winter's coming.
Yeah, he still has a month. He can take 3 or 4 weeks, go have his vacation, come back and still do set up for winter's coming.
All right.
I just don't
think
MJF's first title should be the world title. I think he needs to win like the Atlantic or the TNT or something like that first.
I wouldn't mind seeing Orange Cassidy MJF match.
I think that would make more sense than the world title.
I think he's become too big of a character for those titles. Is everybody okay? Jesus Christ.
Sorry, my sister sneezed.
That was very loud. No, but I just think MJF is too big as of right now for the All Atlantic or for one of the other titles.
But come on. Him versus Wardlow for the TNT. Come on. Wouldn't that be great?
It would. But I don't think you can move straight into that after a loss here. And you don't want to have him lose. Not after everything that has happened. So So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with MJF as well. That's another thing they're gonna have to capitalize on, seeing as he's really over right
Yes.
now.
Has he had a match since he came back? Has he had a match since he came back?
No.
And Moxley's had what? 8 the title defenses since he came back.
Yeah.
Every week it seems like so.
Yeah, so Moxley is tired, man. He got a fresh as fuck MJF. He's gonna win, dude. I have a feeling he's gonna win. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with MJF on this one. I think for me it's what makes sense, and I don't think Mox loses anything by getting the loss here. So
I don't think MJF does either.
no, he wouldn't, because either way it's gonna be a great match. But I think he
Either way, both of them are still superstars.
yeah.
But do you want to break up everybody in the Shield having the title at the moment?
It's gotta happen eventually, man. It's gotta happen. So I'm gonna go MJF on this one. And since, Moxley's in this last match that we just talked about, I'm just gonna bring something up real quick because I found myself alone at work today. Because obviously, Andrew, you're off on Saturdays, but then Johnny took a day as well today, so I had no one to talk to. So I found myself very, very bored within the hour that I got there. So here I finally ended up doing something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. I bought the John Moxley audiobook. And I've listened to about 75% of it. It's 9 hours long. It's like almost 10 hours. So
Is it him narrating? Does he narrate it?
hell yes. And look, nothing against people who love reading, but reading is not my thing. I can't sit down
Yeah.
and read. My ADD won't allow it. So audiobooks are more my thing. But Moxley narrating is the best thing ever. First of all, I don't think the jokes by Claudio come through with you just reading them. You just have to hear how he pulls it off. It's genius, man. I put it right up there with all of my Corey Taylor books that I have on audio as well. It's that kind of style of reading. He really engages you in what he's saying, and as there are true stories that come from him, he just puts a lot more into it. So, yeah, if y'all get the chance to get that audiobook, it's definitely worth the money, man. The story about him buying Renee a scooter for her birthday because they only had one car at the time, his truck. and just the story of how he gave it to her. It's an interesting listen. So, if y'all get the chance, I would definitely go with that. So, yeah, man, there's a lot to look forward to with Full Gear coming up. We'll see how they decide to push this last week. The go home shows before that pay-per-view, and a lot of shit with WWE that's very interesting. We'll see what LA Knight decides to do with Bray Wyatt and all that other shit going on in there. So, yeah, it's going to be a really great week coming up. And I've had it on my mind ever since we started. I wasn't going to forget this week. Because last week I got a little sidetracked. Braun Strowman kind of fucked with my mind a little too much. And as soon as I ended, it was brought to my attention what I had forgotten. So, it is time to stump the brain.
Okay. Who is the only person to hold the ROH World title and ROH Pure title at the same time?
Jay Lethal.
No. It was actually August 12th, 2006 when they retired it. Nigel McGuinness was the Pure Champion. Daniel Bryan was the ROH World Champion. And Daniel Bryan won. So he had both titles, and they merged them. So he had both titles for probably a day or two until they merged them or whatever. So is Daniel Bryanson. Bryan Danielson.
Yes.
And since I brought up the Moxley book and the answer was Nigel McGuinness, according to Moxley, while they were wrestling on the indie shows, Nigel McGuinness is one of the guys that kind of helped him out and taught him a lot of, helped him move along and learn some of the stuff that he knows right now. But he was very intimidated by him whenever they came across, and he was coming in to work indie shows at 17 years old, and called him a sexy bitch. So, yeah, Moxley doesn't hold back, man. Definitely go give that a listen, like I said. But yeah, man, lots of interesting things that are gonna happen this week with the lead up to Full Gear being in the final week. Everything going on with WWE. Hope they clear up the situations in SmackDown that I brought up, but it's Triple H, so it's still gonna be fucking great. So, like always, if you have any questions or comments, WrestleLost@gmail.com, WrestleLost on Facebook, and also WrestleLost here on Twitch. Don't forget to give us a follow here and on YouTube. So we're gonna come at y'all next week for a live watch along of Full Gear. We're gonna definitely pull the audio from that before it gets deleted like last time because we had issues with that as well, but we're gonna be right on it. So until then, we hope y'all have a good rest of weekend and talk to y'all then.
See you next week.
Check you later.